This is the brand new Audi SQ6 and it's time to do a real range test, acceleration, cabin noise and charging 10 to 80%. Welcome to It's Only Electric. Let's start with the basic facts. This is a mid-size SUV measuring 4.8 meters with a wheelbase of 2.9. The curb weight is 2,350 kilograms. S stands for Sport, so this one is the sportier version compared to the normal Q6, which means that it's equipped with Quattro, so all-wheel drive with two motors, combined output 490 horsepower or 360 kilowatts. If you activate launch mode, you get 380 kilowatts of total output. 0 to 100 should take 4.4 seconds. In launch mode, 4.3 seconds. We're going to test that. Can we achieve 4.3 seconds? Stay tuned. Top speed 230 kilometers per hour. The Q6 is built on the PPE platform, Premium Platform Electric, the same platform as the Porsche Macan. So it shares a lot of similarities. For instance, the charging. It's built upon a 800 volt charge system, so the DC charging is really fast, 10 to 80% in 21 minutes. Top speed 270 kilowatts. When it comes to home charging or slow charging, AC charging, 11 kilowatts. That's the regular numbers you all know. So quick charging, but can we really achieve 21 minutes? Stay tuned for that. And I mean, 21 minutes may not sound super impressive, but it is, because it rides on a big battery pack with a gross capacity of 100 kilowatt hours and a net capacity of 95. So for being a mid-size SUV, it's carrying around a big battery pack. Delivers 589 kilometers of WLTP range. Equipped with the 20-inch RS rims, staggered setup, so 255/50 here at the front, 285/45 at the rear. Nokian Hakkapeliitta R5, that's studless Nordic winter tires, so it's winter, it's cold, but I think it's time to start with the range test. So this is the first stretch of my range and consumption test. The average speed is 93 kilometers per hour, so it's a mixed speed track between 50 all the way up to 110 kilometers per hour. Currently it's 100 and it's 80 kilometers long. I always drive the exact same stretch of roads to be able to be as consistent as possible. There is 3 set of main rules, and this is to be able to control the environment and the conditions and to be able to create as comparable result as possible. So rule number 1, AC set to 20 degrees, auto. Also eco is activated. The dry mode is set to efficiency. I have not activated efficiency plus. The third rule is to always stick to the speed limits to be able to compare the results. Very easy. I have been driving for 11 kilometers, so this is just the beginning. Average consumption until now is 23.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, so still high. I'm not that hopeful, to be honest. I mean, 285s at the rear, 255s at the front, a lot of power and a flat front. I mean, this CD value, the air resistance is 0.3, so it's not that low actually. I think a Model Y, for instance, has 0.24. So it's a big difference when it comes to air resistance and slipperiness. And that's a big factor, especially driving in these speeds. I mean, 110 kilometers per hour, then the air resistance will really matter. But let's see about that. So as you see here in the central screen, the image shows that the car is, for the moment, only rear-wheel drive, so it deactivates the frontal induction motor, which means that you save some energy. I mean, you only need one motor in these conditions, so but if I floor it, it will immediately turn on and activate the four-wheel drive, the Quattro system, the front motor, if needed. So this is the good thing with electric cars. It's very easy to switch on and switch off the motors and use them individually. Okay, so to the mandatory deactivation of this speed limit warning, that's the one, yes. So if I drive a bit too fast, it gives me 3 beeps. The good thing is that this works as in the Porsche. There is a button here, a snowflake or a star, that is possible to bound to your specific function. So in this case, it's bound to deactivate or reactivate the speed limit warning. At least the sound still shows you on the screen. And if you long press that one, you will activate the screen where you can rebind it to something else. For instance, changing the media source, activating the navigation, or switching between day and night theme on the navigation, voice guidance, etc. So you have a couple of options, but I keep it on warning tone if a speed is exceeded. That's the one that makes most sense for me. But very easy, just a single tap and you are fine. It's time to revisit the consumption. 26 kilometers passed. The average consumption until now is 22.3 kilowatt-hours per 100 kilometers. Still a bit high. The road conditions, it's 7 degrees outside, semi-damp, almost dry roads. There is no wind, there is no rain or snow. So very mild winter conditions. And driving on winter tires, the studless Nordic Nokian Hakkapeliitta R5. So they are soft, a bit too soft when it comes to plus 0 degrees. They are more meant to drive around in colder conditions than this, so it's not optimal to use those in these conditions. But they are silent and they are comfy. Hitting the halfway, 40 kilometers past, closing into 20 in the consumption, so 20.7 is the average consumption until now, 20.6 kilometers per 100 kilometers. So it's going downwards slowly. Can we be able to hit a score under 20? I think it's hard, but let's see about that. I'm very excited, because if you can do that, it means that this car has a good amount of range, even in real life, not only on paper. Let's summarize the range and consumption test. Average consumption for the whole trip, 19.9 kilowatt-hours per 100 kilometers. That equals to a total range for the full battery pack of 477 kilometers. That's actually 81% of the stated WLTP range of 589 kilometers. Not perfect, but okay as a result. I guess the flat front of the car and the high or kind of high CV value makes it a bit more thirsty in high speeds than in low speeds. So for city driving, you will probably be able to crank out a lot more. So don't expect more than 500 kilometers out of this car during summertime and in good conditions. But a okay result, a bit better than the Macan 4 I tried out a couple of weeks ago. It was around the same weather conditions, but that one was driving around in 22-inch rims. So that eats up a bit of a range. And I think that's the only difference. The extra horsepower doesn't seem to draw that much extra energy at all. I think it's on par with the regular four-wheel drive version of this car and the Macan 4, as I stated. Let's move on to the acceleration test. Semi-damped roads, so not totally dry. 7-8 degrees Celsius outside. State of charge 76%. And the best acceleration I achieved, and that's with the launch mode active, and you activate that by deactivating the traction control, pressing the brake pedal with your left foot and the accelerator at the same time. Then you let go of the braking pedal and the launch mode is on. So 4.31 seconds 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, or 4.11 seconds 0 to 60 miles per hour. And that's right on spec. right on spec. I mean, 4.3 is what Audi themselves states, so that's good. And this is with 75% state of charge. Maybe you can achieve a bit better result with summer tires, totally dry roads, and a fully charged battery. That's probably possible, but still, at these conditions, a good result. Let's move on to the cabin noise test. I always measure the cabin noise the same stretch of roads and in the same way. So I place the microphone at headrest height at the passenger side, and I measure the speeds 50, 70, 90, and 110 kilometers per hour. And this is the final result. It's a bit more silent than the Macan, but almost exactly on spec with that car. And I think the only difference is the choice of tires and that it rides on 295s instead of 285s that this one does. Otherwise, I think the soundproofing seems to be exactly the same. This car has double pane windows, so insulation glass here at the front, also the front windshield, not at the rear. But all in all, a comfortable car. It's silent, it's comfy, it's a good ride on highways and motorways, for sure good for long trips. Other cars to compare it with is the EQE SUV. That one is a tad bit more silent, but it's kind of a small difference. So Audi has managed to do a comfortable highway rider, for sure. So to the final and most exciting part, and that's the charging, at least for me. I charged it 10 to 80%, and as you all know, as I stated in the beginning of the video, this is a 800 volt charging system. So I took it to an 800 volt charger and actually managed the top speed of 279 kilowatts. That's a bit higher than the specified 270, and at 15% it achieved this top speed, and at 80% it actually finalized the charging over 100 kilowatts, so 111 kilowatts at 80%. That's also good. And total charge time, 10 to 80%, took 21 minutes and 7 seconds. And that's also right on spec. Audi states 21 minutes and 7 seconds. That's damn good. I mean, this is one of the fastest chargers available. I mean, you don't have that many cars delivering this kind of charging curve. I mean, you have the EV6, the Kia cars and Hyundai cars. You also have the Xpeng G9 and G6 delivering really good charging performance. And then you have the Macan and the Q6. So one of the best cars for quick charging, and it's fairly efficient, so it will be a good choice for doing long trips in. If you go for the regular Q6 with four-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive, you will be able to get an even better long trip experience because you will get more range, higher efficiency, and the same charge curve. So I think that's your best bet if you want to go for a Q6. Go for the rear-wheel drive version. If you don't need four-wheel drive, then you will have amazing short charge stops and long times in between the charge stops, actually. I mean, the SQ6 is not a cheap car. It's expensive. This one with this equipment costs 1.3 million crowns or 120,000 euros. Starting price is around 105,000 euros or 1.1 million Swedish crowns. So you need to really open up your wallet to be able to buy this car. But what I like with Audi is that they do this concept. I mean, Audi S stands for sport, and I have loved this kind of branding and packaging ever since, as long as I can remember. I mean, I think this is the perfect blend in between comfort and too aggressive sportiness, like the RS variants, because this is still very quick, very powerful, but in combination with comfort, the air suspension, the silent cabin, and the drivability for long trips is great in this car. So I think you get the perfect mix between the two worlds of comfort and sportiness. It's kind of a GT car. You can drive it for long runs and have a really pleasant drive. And when you want to have some fun, you can do that too. What I miss though, when it comes to the charging especially, is the preconditioning. There is no manual activation of the preconditioning. You need to navigate to a fast charger and the car handles that for you, which is good as such. So Audi's philosophy here is that you shouldn't care about the battery temperature. We do that for you. But that also means that you as a driver need to tell the car that you are on your way to a charger. You need to plan your trip and you need to do that early. I mean, you need to preheat for almost an hour before you get the perfect temperature conditions in cold weather, or if it's too hot, for instance. So you need to think about that. And I think that's a bit disappointing for me. I want that function to be at least an option for me. As a driver, sometimes I want to activate that manually, because sometimes I don't want to plan, or I may not find the correct charger in the system. Then I want to do that myself. So please add that function. It would be great. At least for power users, you know. Don't expect that every user just wants to avoid things or want to make the car handle everything for you. Sometimes it's also fun and it's also more flexible to let people choose. Because I know that Porsche does it, not the Macan, but the Taycan, for instance. So the system supports it. I think that's all. I hope you enjoyed this video and that I could shed some light on the Audi SQ6. If I did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, spread the word for me, share the video, and most importantly, share your thoughts. Write comments, let us have a discussion about the car. Let me know what you think. That's all. Stay electric, think watching, speak to you soon.